it looks like a human brain, but the human brain does not double itself every 18 months. Only our technologies are doubling itself in 18 months. Our brain probably is a finite, if you wish. It's not so finite, but it's a finite organism. However, the technologies humanity is developing are not finite in terms of their capabilities, if you wish, or immensity, if you wish. Okay, now I'll explain it in a different way. Some people say that, Gaia is the geosystems that we are all aware. Humanity has added a new layer, how this surrounding this planet is evolving, and probably a new superorganism is engulfing what humanity has been doing in the last millennia. Now, if you are to take a look at the generation time frames, in nature took eons for every generation to develop, billions of years sometimes. Humanity measures its development rate or pace by centuries. Technologies are being measured by a few months, and we have entered a stage in which we think that something will develop, a decade from now, it will be probably less than a decade from now by many means. I would like to introduce you to another idea that speaks about the seventh kingdom. Now, all those that are in the biology discipline knows that this planet can be divided into 6 kingdoms of existence, from the unicellular to multicellular to animals and plants. But probably our intelligence, or the intelligence that has been developed within these species, is developing a new kingdom. And of course, I'm not sure how our kids will call that new species or new kingdom, but at this point, some of us are calling it the technium, even though I don't like so much that term, but this is what we have right now. Something is emerging, and the responsibility of humanity for that new species that is evolving is to parent it, to take care of it, in order, of course, for it to continue develop humanity, to be part of our evolution, not just to be our slave. Most of the people think that our technologies are a new form of slavery for humanity. But maybe there is something much bigger than that. Maybe technology itself is evolving in new ways that will probably help us, not just, service us, if you wish, help us evolve to higher levels of evolution. And probably, just probably, technology is part of a very long line of evolution that is taking place for millennia already, and its new form will be some kind of a dynamic, living system that will interact with its surrounding and with us, and will constantly challenge our understanding of ourselves and our understanding of nature. Oh, there are a few characteristics to any superorganism, but take a look at which stage we are. Okay, each organism or superorganism needs to be complex, diverse, needs to have some specializations. Take a look at this one is nice, sentience. At a certain level of evolution, a system or a superorganism needs to have some low level of consciousness, okay? Animals have some level of consciousness. It's called sentience. It's not the consciousness that humanity has been developed, but still, it's a kind of consciousness. So let's see at what stage we are in that route towards consciousness of our technologies. Okay? For the last centuries, 5 minutes, merci. For the last centuries, we have been manufacturing a lot of things in order to, to have more comfortable surroundings. But any superorganism needs to go from that level of existence to a second level of existence, which is to be autonomous, not just, do things what their creator has put inside them. And then those autonomous things start to be a little bit smart. At the end, any superorganism develops some kind of consciousness. What do you think? Where are we in our technology? At what stage are we in our technologies? Probably we are just, at the transition time between our manufacturing goods to be a little bit more autonomous. We are speaking, all of us, about autonomous things, but we are just at the first stage of developing autonomous technologies that will have, they will not do exactly what we are planning for them to do, but they will be developing some traits, some features that we did not conceive before. They will conceive those traits from, some people speak about now, machine learning that a human brain will not be able even to conceive, but those algorithms will be able to develop those ideas, those patterns. Anyway, by the way, we are at a stage also in which we start developing tools with which we can measure consciousness. This is a new study that was just released, and they were able to develop a machine with a nice idea behind what consciousness is, with which we are able to measure if a person is conscious and how conscious is that person. At the beginning, the idea is, of course, to use it in the operation rooms to see if a person is still awake or not. But at the end, we will be able to measure the consciousness of technologies with our technologies themselves. Now, since I don't have time, I would recommend you to read this book, if you are not aware of. He speaks about this idea in a very nice genre. Don't take it too seriously, what he put in this book. He really knocks down religion and speaks about technology as the new super intelligence. Let's not exaggerate, but this is a nice idea how to do it. Anyway, now if you wish, this is the context in which LiFi is going to exist in the next few decades. Okay, we need new ways to deliver those huge amounts of data in order to continue and develop our intelligence, develop the intelligence of our things. Okay? Now, if you wish, that kind of thinking might generate also new ideas. Okay? Now, everybody now here is familiar with the term IoT, but I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the term social IoT. I'm a founder of a startup that is trying to develop new platforms on which our things will be socializing. Socializing, not just, doing things for us. They will be socializing for themselves, which is an idea that is so far-fetched for a lot of people when the first time they hear about it. But if you understand that this species is an evolution journey in which he brings together his surrounding to go to a higher level of consciousness, then our surrounding will at the end develop also social traits, not just intelligence traits. So I'm part of a startup that is developing the infrastructure, the algorithm of sociability of that new civilization of thing that is emerging. So this is just an idea how with a story, with a myth, you are able to go really crazy about the kind of technologies we are able to develop and be somehow sure that those technologies will be adopted at the end, which is the most important issue always. Unfortunately, my time is over, so what I would like to finish with, I have a nice video clip, but I'm not sure this is the time to show it, just to demonstrate how our things are coming to life together with their understanding of their surrounding, understanding that we're not the ones that are going to, program exactly. And this is just one way to explain how humanity is developing myths with which we create the world. We are a kind of creators. And this is real. This is not just, a paraphrase, if you wish. We are a kind of creators of worlds. And we are not creating those worlds just for our sake. We are creating those worlds to be able to enhance intelligence in nature. Thank you very much.
Yes, maybe could we take time just for one little question, please?
They are in shock.
They definitely are. So maybe will I ask you my personal question? Okay, you told me this fascinating story showing that we are creating a global technological superorganism which grows bigger, which is reaching higher levels of consciousness maybe. What, in your opinion, could something as LiFi, what kind of role could LiFi play in this superorganism? I know that someone here, one of the speakers, will take this image to him. The electrical cables which are used in LiFi and which will bring light and data as well, are something like a spine for artificial intelligence, for virtual,
That's a nice
for virtual
analogy.
reality, etc.
Yeah.
It's a spine.
That's a nice analogy, but we need a surrounding, an environment that is not wired. Wired are a very primitive way to deliver ideas, to deliver. You see, now you and me are not wired. Nature did not evolve in a wired way. It evolved.
What about my veins, my?
But we are not wired. Only if I touch you.
Together, yes.
Okay, only
yes.
if I touch you,
Yes.
You can say this is a kind of a wired connection. We are, communicating in a wireless environment. So this is a more natural way to bring things together. And because those wires are actually a constraint to how things are going through or are being shared. So this is probably going to be a very primitive stage in our evolution. In a matter of probably a few decades, not more than a century, we won't see any wired things. Everything will be wireless with different kinds of technologies. One of them is just LiFi. But we will be developing and we'll be understanding different ways of communicating wireless. One of them that some scientists are speaking about is what we call the quantum entanglement. We know that things are entangled, okay? Atoms are entangled. What is it exactly, that entanglement, which is wireless? But through that entanglement, we'll be able to deliver different kinds of wisdom to our things, to each other.